We're coming to the end of the pace lap here. We'll drop down into second from fourth, trying to conserve fuel. As the race is green flag, and everybody's all over the place already. Christ, we haven't even made it out of the final corner. We are P2 in class. The Corvette you see in front of the blue one, oh, somebody spinned it behind us, but the Corvette in front, I do believe number 9 Corvette. There's a few double numbers here, which is a bit confusing, I will admit. I just have to sort out my audio here, because, you know, planning isn't really a thing. But here we are, coming down through turn 1. Up here, whoops, wrong gear. Oh, this is so tricky. Right, here we are mixed up now. I think that forecast got a problem. And we're coming in with a dive bomb here on the 9. No, we backed out a bit. That Cobra made it through. Just got to be a hawk. Watch your mirrors. We've got 2 Ford GT spawners. They are faster than us. He's looking to go up the inside. This is not a car for cornering. Not a car for cornering. We're going to leave the inside open. He didn't want to take it right there. He might want to save it for the straight line. Oh, that was too soon. That's a mistake from me. Stupid unforced error. And the Fords bumped me. Oh no, would you look at that? So now here we are on the run down towards the famous hairpin. There we go, brake. Just gear down here, use the engine brake. Oh, we're a bit wide there, late on the brake. We've got to remember now, into fuel. Fuel extending, here's what the name of the game is, and also look after the car, because these cars are not reliable in any sense, really. We just go through here nice and easy, there's no point attacking. You have to approach this completely different to what you would a modern endurance race. This is a 2-hour 31-minute race admittedly, but that is still, if you do it in one sitting, which I'm planning to do here, still quite the test of endurance. And just listen to that. Oh my word, we've been punted off. Oh dear, right at the end here, Christ alive, punted off by a Ford GT that went to take its line. It just couldn't. Just a tiny oversight. I think we've got somebody going up our inside. Let's leave it open. We don't have a mirror on the right hand side, which is a bit of an oversight. So we kind of have to use telepathy to see if there's anybody actually there, which is also why I've got track IR running here. It's just a bit more of a help when we need to look for blind spots. But listen, oh, it's so good. You have a trouser problem, or certainly a problem in your trousers, in the front of your trousers, when you are accelerating, because that gorgeous V8, and then when it comes to stopping, because we're running 1960s brakes and 1960s tyres and 1960s cars, which are quite heavy, you have a problem at the back of your trousers when you realise you actually don't really have brakes at all. So yeah, we'll just try and come in here now, lift off a bit early. Now that was a bit early, and see, we're heavy here. We've got like a lot of fuel on board, running twice everything in terms of fuel use and tyre wear, and time scaled mechanical problems, so we might want to be careful about that. Also, just in order for me to keep track of the situation, I've got some cardboard next to me where I've used some permanent marker just so I can see it a bit easier, written down who's starting where in the top 5 in class. So yeah, but this is it. It's just so different to drive. So different to drive. Sebring is such a completely different character here. It really is just straights connected with corners, and once it comes to lapping cars, you really have to remember where your car's strong and where it's weak. It's not like today, where you can pretty much just take anybody wherever you want if you're lapping somebody. Here you have to plan ahead, you have to be smart, you have to be circumspect, you have to know where you can do it without causing problems for yourself immediately after, like going into the S's there, for example. That's not an overtaking point for me. That's just isn't going to work. And here we are, we got right back up with a 4. The car that punted us off. The car feels fine after that. I just must remember out here, fuel extend, look after the engine. It's the name of the game right here. And yep, just down, run over right here. Remember, we have now just 99 litres of fuel aboard. Started with 118 or 19, I believe. to shift up at about 6,000 RPM and just listen to the backfire. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! This is character. Just listen! Then you gear down and then you come through here. We'll get through the track here in a moment. Talk about it just for those who aren't perhaps familiar with Sebring's history. Oh, I overdrove it there. Yeah, these cars are so susceptible to poor entry speed and to you having finished actually your braking action before you turn in. You can't really trail brake in this unless you want to have massive amounts of sideways and oversteer, which really you do not want. Yes! Oh, that's such a good sound. Oh, shifted down far too early there. There we go. And again, we're just slightly overdriving now. They don't like that. They don't like it. You've got to back off. You've got to run your own race. You've got to be patient here. You've got to not be lured into battles. It is not really a problem these days. I mean, yeah, okay, sometimes when you're banging doors and that, it is a problem. But not really in terms of just absolutely abusing the car by running hard. Like this is one of the two corners that I struggle with quite a bit. See, now we're at how wide. I think we actually got a yellow flag there for being so wide out. No cutting back. Oh no, somebody else must have gone off. But yeah, here we are. As you know, Sebring down the front straight away. Here it usually goes off in a much more acute angle in the modern day circuit, but here we are not. Here we are. It is such a smooth and a fast corner. Qualifying third gear. Now I'm trying to fuel extent. We're doing it in fourth. But here we are up here. This is tower turn. This is actually the top right hand corner of... Oh god, I'm getting it all wrong here. But that was the top hand right corner of the modern day circuit. So that bit we drove there is actually the run down, if that makes sense. We'll go down here. This is where the modern day circuit would rejoin. We go through here, the S's come through here. Now we're approaching Big Bend, overdriving slightly, but we're salvaging it up, and now we can just pretty much stay on the power. It's very tricky Big Bend in this car with all this weight and the grip and lack thereof, so you might actually force yourself wide, and I've actually run out of knowing who's in what position. We go all the way down to fourth. We've got full gear down to the hairpin. The real track has some S's put in right about here where they rejoin, and then it kind of gets fussy about here. I believe we are still using the same sort of, it's more sort of curvy this bit in the modern version. Then we go down here where we pretty much run back down, and we continue up here along, which was the warehouse rate was slightly further inwards. Right over here, that chicane was about here that we went through in years before. It was very tricky. It is so fast, this circuit. It is unreal. We're not going to stop for those aircrafts as we now approach. Down here, this fast right-hander at the very top of the circuit, leading out now onto a little taxiway here, which will see us out onto an actual runway. This is the runway you see in the background of the current Sebring layout. Just for reference, this is the runway you see at the back of Sebring that's currently being used. It's incredible to think of the sheer scale of this, how spectacular this layout was back in the day for racing. So wide open. I mean, compared with modern day Sebring, you've got so much runoff area here. Oh, I'm shifting down far too soon. I'm going to cook the engine. I have done a 2-hour race here where I ended up thrashing the engine going down that straight, which I think would just have been from over revving on downshifts, which just wore it out. So I'm going to have to be far more careful of that here now as we're settling into 8th, about 3 seconds behind. Just lift off here, lift and coast, helps with fuel saving. Out here and see, it helps really here, and that's what you learn in this. When you try to look after the car, you try to fuel save, you realise just how hard you end up pushing modern race cars. I think there's a real benefit from driving this car or these cars, even if you race modern sims and modern cars, because it just teaches you something different. Teaches you to look after the car, teaches you to roll off that throttle, let the car settle, and just be more mindful of the fact that the old girl sometimes just has a will of her own, and you just got to respect her and do what she wants, because this old vet, I mean, quite frankly, if we had a horn in this, I'm pretty sure it will be a screaming eagle. It is that American. Massive V8, massive amounts of backfire, which sounds spectacular in this. They've done a fantastic job recreating it. Just amazing work for the Power and Glory mod. Again, stepping out there a bit. I think we got the next car in line right behind us. We've got a Ford GT up ahead. Is that the 5? It might be, you know. And he's defending, or Kurt was defending from him. That is the 4th, so that's the one that banged us down. That was the one that was slow early on, so he might already have a problem of some description. We have got another Corvette behind us. It really was a Corvette Group 3 over 2 litre qualifying run out here. We pretty much lugged up the front. I believe the first non-Corvette came in down in 5th, I think, or 4th. So yeah, we logged out the top 3. Just remember to shift up again a bit early, just look after the engine. But it is a bit of a problem really looking after the engine here with all of these stonking great straights. So what we can do really, just lift early, let it run, and then shift down a bit later than that, because that was too soon. We've got to bore that engine. We also need to use the engine to stop the car. Just let it roll through the corners down here. So the sun is starting to set up into 3rd. We only have 4 gears in this. Let's just have a look down here. Water temperature, oil pressure's good. Battery's looking fine. Oil temperature's fine. We've got 2 oil temperature warnings. No sure why we've got 2, not warnings, but gauges. Oh. And we lift off. Brake. And then we just hit those pops right here. That's backfire. That's just dumping fuel into the exhaust. I mean, it's so good to drive this. At some point we're going to start catching that traffic, probably in a couple of laps time. On about you, because the slower cars here are really quite slow. So they will absolutely throw the cat among the pigeons, and frankly this is going to get very confusing once pit stops start, because then everybody's going to be spaced out in class and you don't really know where you are. So you're kind of just driving, guessing where you are in position. It's when you're doing it old school like this, it's really nice because it's, well, correct really. That's what it was like back then for them. So we're still in P8 with 4 seconds back, and the next guy in line is just behind us. He is just holding back here. We're just really not trying too hard right now. We just want to just roll it in here, just let it roll, settle, and then get on the throttle a bit here. Brake. 3rd, 2nd, slow down here for tower turn. Good stuff on the run down to the S's. Absolutely brilliant. This, I mean, I so want this for R Factor 2, or update it for its own standalone sim, because these cars just deserve it. It is so good. It is so good, this. So much fun to drive. They just have so much character. Like the sound and the feel, even though you're just using a force feedback wheel. It's just so wonderful and beautiful to drive. Oh, he's gotten past. The Ford GT's gotten past. Into that. The AI, yeah, as you can see, there does have a tendency to run off into the dirt there. It's a bit annoying, but AI, what can you do? I certainly can't do much. I just mind here. Cut through. Oh, we're pushing a bit hard there. Push this a bit wide. Oh, somebody's taking that cone off. That means we can cut that one a bit harder next time through. I'll take that. And then shift up here. We'll just settle in here. If anybody attacks us, if the guy behind goes for a lunge, you can have it. We're in this one for the win. So again, just off the throttle early on the brake. Downshift into 3rd. And you just clip the inside right there gorgeously out. You approach the other brake point down into 2nd for this one. Just let it roll, let it settle, let it settle. We were a bit hot in there. You also got to mind your tyres, of course. These are big heavy cars on 60s tyres. They're not really grippy compared to what you would expect today. Like driving these cars, you definitely have to brake a lot sooner than you really think you need to. in order to slow it down, and you need to have corner speeds that are significantly lower than what you would expect to. So those two things combined can really catch you out early on, and here you can just clip that grass. It can help rotate the car a bit. Now we're just going to settle in here. We're on lap 5. And it's looking good with the fuel. I think we fuel extended at least 1 lap now, because it was saying 9 or 8 laps early on. Oh, we're coming in hot here. We're coming in hot here. We're coming in hot. Oh, that's not good for the tyres. It's not good for the tyres. Where is that guy? I can hear him. Just leave the inside open for him, but he hasn't gone for it. Where is he? Oh God, where is he? Okay, so he's back there, but where? I can't actually see him. That's quite disturbing, because it says there's a guy behind us. Oh, he's dropped back as well. Did he have a problem then back there as well? I don't know, but he's dropped back. I don't think we made contact, didn't feel or hear anything. But yeah, you got those whining brakes and just the feel of the car through the corners, the weight as it rolls around. Oh, it's so beautiful. Hit these apex, and that, you know, that gurgling sound from the backfire when it's coming back down. Oh yeah. Oh, this is so good. Visually, this isn't as pleasant an experience as R-Factor or iRacing or any of the other modern sims, but this is very good. Oh, we're in hot here, we're in hot here, we're sliding around, we've got to calm down now. We're on our own race. I mean, we're not really in contention with the cars in front, so we just got to settle down here, wait for us to hit lap traffic and just get through that as cleanly as possible. We've not seen anyone off yet, but that will become a factor later on. You will start to have cars scattered about off track just from accidents and mechanical defects and all of that. Oh, so nice. I could listen to this all day. Just a second here. Again, just a bit hot in, just to get lured in. You start to think, yeah, we can go in pretty fast here, but you can't. You really you can't. So I think we have... Oh, we've got a battle behind. I saw side by side behind in the mirror there. But no, they're just outside of view. I think we've got a full GT behind us, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yes! I mean, just cars gearing down is a sound that's so underrated. Like, I always want to watch motorsport, I always want them to hold that shot just a bit longer so you can hear them going down. But here's lap traffic. Going out first one, give them lots of room. Cars move around a lot here. Brake. This was the one that called us out before. Oh, we got a yellow flag now. Yellow flag here. Oh, but it's been withdrawn. So what's up down here? What is up? Oh God, I just realised I forgot to put the steering wheel on, so you guys aren't seeing what I'm doing. Oh well, that's too late now, isn't it? We'll just run through here. Yeah, we're stabilising now. Somebody's already been to the pits. Brake here, let it roll because it's quite heavy and wide, but just let it roll through here. Brake, let's see, through here. You got to really respect the yellow flags here, because you don't have the same kind of ability to respond to flags as you do in a modern car. Again, same with lap traffic, you just don't have the agility to make those certain changes in direction that you can in a modern race car. You have to be planning ahead, you have to be expecting issues. You can't run these cars 100% flat out, you have to just be gentle on them. Just change gears early and just be ready. And be nice to her, because then she'll be nice to you. Just come down here towards us, lift off, brake. Down, this is the first gear corner, very tricky to get right. especially when the cars are this heavy and with so much power that the back end just wants to let them rip. Once you get there, but you kind of just got to mind yourself. It is a surprisingly fun part, this out here, because these you can cut those pretty aggressively, certainly in here. I think the video footage I've seen of this track, which isn't very much admittedly, it wasn't quite as easy as that. And look at that, just Marshall sitting there on the embankment of dirt to stop us careering off in there. Although I would like to point out that there's nothing in this next section that's stopping us, fast race cars, from spearing off into aircrafts. That somehow doesn't seem like a thing that should be possible. Like, okay, there's some fence there, and there is some very low fencing right there. Like, if I had a right wheel go down right now and I speed off in there, that fence would not stop me. We would hit that P51 Mustang. I would burst into fire and die. Oh my word, it sounds so good. Then you lift off and you get to hit run down. Then you hear that pop and then you just go, yeah, everything is right with the world. I mean, admittedly, this was the late 60s, so a lot of things were right with the world. I mean, it's very easy for me to say a straight white man, oh yeah, 1960s, they were great. Why don't we go back to that, drive V8s, and, you know, we can beat our wives without any kind of consequence. You know, the wives and we've driven in a bit hot here again. Yellow flag, wow, we were actually sliding all of that time, wowzers. I suspect these tyres will be quite second-hand by the time we pit in a couple of laps' time. Here through we go. Just room to lift and coast, fuel save. Just settle in here. We're not really racing yet. We're just not really overtake through here. I mean, I could delve up the inside here, but that just seems daft. We'll just settle in behind the 19. Is that an Austin Healey? Now we can go on the power and see, now he's nowhere. Suck on that freedom. Ah, we are overdriving again. We are overdriving again. Overdrive, overdrive. And this guy doesn't have an overdrive, which means I'm doing something wrong and we need to look after that. We're sort of settling in. Pit. Nah. We got 2 laps of fuel, mate. Don't need to pit yet. Let's just lift off, let it coast on the brakes. I mean, really, there's no reason to be fuel saving or starting to fuel save halfway through a stint. You've got to start doing that right out of the gate. As soon as you leave the pits, you have to start that fuel save, or in this case, as soon as you pull away from the grid. Gonna have to do that. Yeah, okay, that Lotus is behind us. And I'm a bit slower through there because I weigh, as you would expect, this big American ironwork weigh a lot more than those nimble little British motors right there. They don't have the engine that I do, but they have got lightness, especially the Lotus, you know, on account of Colin Chapman and all that. Run it down here. He's got a yellow flag in hand. Does that mean? Nope. Oh god, why am I... Wow! I've made a massive... Oh god, Track IR's had an issue. Oh yeah, let's just... Can we... There we go. Just reset that. Yeah, that we'll just call that, you know, technical issues as well. It fell off there because I had a moment of being in the wrong gear, then I went to the right gear, and then it all went wrong. So we'll just try and settle down here. And now we're kind of being interfered with that traffic. It's going to mess up our lap times, but really that is just what it's going to be like from this point on, really. Especially once we get into the pit cycles, which should be happening soon. And about the slower cars when they'll be pitting, but everybody's got to pit, you know. And then it becomes like a rolling game of who pits when, and yeah, it's just, you're not really going to have many clean laps from now on, and that's nice. That's endurance racing. It's multi-class racing, that's what it's all about, that's what we love. It's all of these things that has to come together. You have to be right. Oh, see again, just overdriving a bit. I think I dragged the brakes a bit too long there. We ended up doing that, but no, we've got 2 laps of fuel still, so we'll carry on. I'm going to try and go as long as possible to either lower the final stint or perhaps even just cut it out entirely on the last fuel stop, because that is an option. I know with my 2-hour race I was right on the limit there of having to do another stop, so I just fuel saved like I was possessed just to try and avoid that stop. We'll try and do that again here, because there's where time can be gained. We are in 7th, which I think means we've moved up a position. But again, they could have just started to pit now. I'm not sure. It is all a bit confusing. You don't get told which car's in front, which car is behind on the pit board, which would be nice. That would be useful information. It just tells you how far behind you are. So we just have to try and mind that. But I think we're either 1st or 2nd in class, so that's looking good. So we're catching, I believe that's one of the Ferraris. Would that be the one with Sir Sterling Moss behind the wheel? Ooh, back end's being lively. It is Sir Sterling Moss up ahead. Wow. Have to pay him some respect when you pass him, don't you? You can't really fault him off. It's Sterling bloody Moss, the legend. Remember, fuel save, look after the engine, don't just rev it out because it sounds divine. You have to watch the engine. Let's listen to that. Yes. Just going down to 3rd as we catch Sir Sterling. Right here. I mean, I could go for a lunge, but again, that's just stupid. With a massive straight coming up, he'll just look at the roll in his car. Just absolutely all over the place. And now he's going to be right there, so we're going to move out. Again, these cars like to move a bit. You don't have a lot of horizontal movement in modern race cars. You do here. You do get the sense that you can't go door to door quite as aggressively. Oh yeah, and now we come up again to another slower car. Pull out early. Lift off. Brake. Oh, we need to be a bit slower in here. Oh, we need to just drift it. Yeah, Tokyo Drift style. That's how we do it. That is how we do it. Oh, look at that. An E-Type. Look at that E-Type Jag. Oh, yes, mate. Oh, yes, mate. Lift off. Brake. You can't really use lines on the road for yourself all the time. Just got to stay off it here out wide. This is our trouble spot. You're about here, 1 lap down there. So next time round we'll have to do another assessment and see if it's time to bring her in for a bit more of fuel. But just brake here. Again, roll off, let the car settle as you turn. Just run it a bit wide, brake. And the throttle, just pick up a bit more speed as we come out of the 2nd corner into tower turn. Just slow it down nice and good. Clip the apex. Yes! And then we just celebrate by revving the V8. Oh. I went to Le Mans in 2007, and they did have cars of this vintage running in the Legends race that they had as a support race, and it was... oh, it was joyous to hear 4 GT40s, this, and many other cars. Oh, all going around Lassard. I mean, can you really ask for more before the actual big race? I feel like you can't, actually. Kind of just gotta love these cars just for being so special. And then you come up to the bigger boys, the Porsche 906s that are in this race, then the 907s later on. I mean, just so gorgeous. This is one of those eras where you just go, the cars were so pretty back then. And sports cars. I think F1 peaked in the 50s. Like those 55 Mercedes. Oh, that's just spectacular to look at those machines. I think that is the pinnacle, really, of classic Formula cars, is those Mercs. Even the Slipstreamers, or whatever they were called, they look good. They looked so good. When you talk about the people who drove it, Fangio, Moss, I mean, really. Oh, we're overdriving here. Coming in hot. That's just those names. You just realise, yeah, okay, this was surely something special. When Fangio and Sterling Moss is out the same team, it's just wowzers. I mean, truly horrifying cars, really. Even in this era, like the safety was horrible in the 67 race. No, 66 race, sorry. There were 2 separate fatality incidents, or fatal incidents at Sebring. One was the driver, oh dear, somebody spin off here, went off at the hairpin. In a Ford GT40, he impacted with where the fuel tanks were into a telegraph pole. The car burst into flames and he died, which is probably the worst way to go, I think, burning to death in a motor race, certainly in terms of a motorsport fatality. The other one happened. Oh god, we're drifting here. We're drifting here. Let's gather it back up and not talk as we approach that corner because we need to focus there. Pit! 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 That's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Oh mate, okay, so here we are in the pit. What we need to take, yeah, we need a different set of tyres at the front. Just because that's what the mod tells me to do. Otherwise, yeah, it's looking alright here. Damage is fine. Fuel is good and will stay in. So, go in here. And we need to switch the engine off, otherwise they don't do anything. Which I had to learn the hard way. I will just leave 2 black 11s as we pull away from the box. I've into second. It'll automatically put you on the speed limiter, so it's all good. Somebody else is ready for their stop. We're now down in P18, but that's to be expected. Now with the pit cycle underway, it's going to filter out eventually, as we now are away here. Just have to pull out here, make sure it looks to be reasonably clear, so we'll take the racing line through here, coming up behind a Mustang. It appears to be one of the... I believe we're in the same class, but they're very much slower than us. It's just product really of what it is. Maybe they're one of the sports car classes, because there's a few classes running here. There's a slow GT class, which is under 2 litre engines, which is the Austin Healey's and the like, and then we got this class, which is GT cars over 2 litres. Would you believe a Corvette doesn't fall within the 2 litre bracket? I would imagine probably not 4. I'm actually doubtful it will fall in 6. But yes indeed, and then we've got sports cars divided up similarly to under and over. And we've got sports prototypes as well in this, which we might get to see at some point, I'm not certain. Now here we are, we're going to mind this, we're going to go for the overtake, even though that's not the best place for us to do it. Just hold our line out here so as he has room to brake as well. And then we are a bit quicker here. Oh, that was stupid, that was too much cutting right there, we can't do that again. That's far too much cutting. But yeah, the other fatality was about here with the old layout where we had a much longer straight here, which allowed a lot higher speed into that chicane, where Andretti, actually Mario Andretti, had a gearbox issue in his Ferrari, which then made contact with another car that went off, hit what was described to spectators in an area where they weren't allowed to be, and one of the trackside warehouses, which is very typical of that era. So yeah, that was not great. I believe 3 or 4 spectators died. But it was kind of kept secret until the following game, which is a bit dodgy, but that's also of the era. Go down here, must remember this is the out lap, just very heavy and with cold tyres, so just be mindful of that here. We're 25 seconds behind the next car in class, or the next car really on the road. So yeah, it's all a bit confusing now. We kind of just have to run your numbers. I do know we're looking out for 9:45 which I believe the 45 is a Corvette, and then another 45, which is a Mustang, which admittedly is quite confusing for me, but you know, I've written down that the Mustang started behind. That's a red Mustang, and then we had the 15, which was a Ferrari, which started in 5th. So we just run it right over here to the wall, left, brake, let it roll in. As you can also see, we're starting to settle into the later stages of daylight. We will eventually end up in the dark, and I'm quite frankly surprised we haven't seen anybody off, though there's plenty of evidence to suggest that people have been off. There are cones scattered everywhere, there are bales, as you can see, off. So people obviously have had issues. We haven't seen any of it, which just leads me to believe that we might not have that much attrition just yet, but I'm not sure. It could just been people running wide and hitting it. They would have been able to continue. No car stopped at the side just yet. We've had that 1 or 2 yellow flags, but nothing really to pay attention to. We just run it through here. Also, those are not geysers over there. They are supposed to be bonfires, but they do look rather a bit like a geyser up on Iceland. But they're, suffice to say, they don't have those down in Florida. As we now approach again slower traffic, I believe those might be 2 Lotus Elite. I'm not too up to speed on Lotuses of that era. Of any era really, because they're all called like Esprit, Elite, Exige. They've all got names that are very similar, which is quite confusing really. We've blasted through that one and past the other one. The 22. Is that the one? Oh, we can't see that now, but I know there's one car in the race driven by Jim Clark. Just let it run through here. Always a bit exciting to see a marshal with a flag in hand. Sometimes they won't hold it out, but it will show up on the HUD as being waved at you. So we'll just try now and get through here. Get a nice bit of clean road in front. Just run your own race. Don't get lured into racing or hot lapping. Just run it down here, so we see a toilet off over there. I believe if you have an issue here and you were forced to go off track, you should just desperately try and not hit that one, just for the sake of those volunteer marshals standing there. That just seems awfully rude to be running their toilet off the road. I mean, anyone's toilet really shouldn't be run off the road. That's a bit rude. Yellow flag, yellow flag. Okay, incident up ahead. I'm not seeing anything. Nope, we're clear now. That may have happened behind us then. Oh, just a bit of a lock up there. Ah, just a bit too hot in. For that is such a tricky one here, of course. That is the straightaway in which nowadays you are positioned all the way over on the left side. So we are on the right side of it. The modern day circuit uses the far left side. So what we drive on there would actually be parking, I believe, for trucks that support the teams. So yeah, that just also goes to show some of the changes that has taken place. All this is, what am I doing? I'm too focused on talking and not concentrating on driving. Just listen to that though. Oh. So we just passed the pit lane and we're still in 18th, so there's still some time to go before we catch up with some of the other classes, I think, before they pit. Because obviously we might be some of the cars that pit as soon as I would imagine. The Ford GTs and the like would be one of the later ones to pit. And I would expect the same of the slower GT cars as well, just through the fact that they're running a smaller engine, so there will be more frugal, whereas we have a lot of freedom under the bonnet as we approach another Corvette, the 119 Corvette. That is one of the older models. That would be a C2, wouldn't it? Because we're in a C3. Oh, just right here. Or not. Maybe we'll go for it. We're going for it. Hashtag Max Verstappen full send. That is it. Making Ayrton Senna proud right here. Going for a gap. Oh, wow. But he's actually done a fairly decent job of holding position. Through we go. Pull out for an overtake. There we are. There we are indeed. So 40 minutes down here, I believe. It's looking decent so far for us. As we approach another, is that another Austin or Triumph? It's one of the British cars anyway, I think. I don't think that's a Mustang. We're closing far too quick for it to be a Mustang. It's so good to drive. Just got to watch, just check the temperatures here. It's all looking good, right? Yeah, water temperature's fine. Water temps haven't gone up. It's all looking good. We've got a good amount of fuel in it. Yep. And back then, as a driver, you had to really pay attention to that, because something could go wrong in a moment and you would have to make a decision. You had no radio contact with your team. You were the one that had to make the decision. Likewise, if you stopped on track, your team might not find out about it until a bit of time afterwards. Because Fred would have to filter back from out there. There weren't always live TV coverage, certainly not trackside coverage of it. As a spectator, you were just standing over there watching cars and having the speakers to listen to about what's happened. So really, I think this was such a wonderful era of sports car racing and motorsport in general, despite the danger. I mean, everybody knew it was there, so they did it. That's the argument with Isle of Man, which we covered recently. So really, you know, it was there, it was being worked on. But I think it's better now, really, ain't it? Because you can actually watch it, you know, if you're on that track. Like I'm able to watch it from Denmark, you know. If you told somebody from back then that you could watch the race in full, if you lived on the other side of the world, they would not have believed you. So you can watch the whole race from your house on your television that can show that live, and it's like not a big deal. Like, people don't go, wow, this is amazing, we can do this. Like, we are bloody lucky to live in this era, we really are. And certainly someone with ADHD, I would be fucked back then, Christ alive. So yeah, this is great to reminisce and go, oh, it was good back then, but really we have it good now. Let's go back in, because what we can do is go, yes, it was great what we had then, and then we can look at the great racing we have now, and we can go, yeah, that's pretty good too. Like back then, no Bathurst 12-hour. That's a significant drawback. On top of, you know, the casual racism, misogyny, and just general ignorance present back in those days. Oh, pushing hard there. Asbestos was great, wasn't it? Oh, mate. In the 60s, you couldn't get enough of asbestos. Asbestos was everywhere. Nowadays, not so much. So again, progress being made. Lift off and brake. Third gear for this. Something like this for me definitely is very challenging to do, to sit here and drive and try and certainly keep the mistakes to a minimum. I've already had a couple. But yeah, the 2-hour race I did, what I was superbly chuffed with. There were 3 incidents really. One was a spin by myself, which was completely unfortunate. The other one was a lap car that pulled over and just punted me off a little bit, which is what you can expect really. I should have just waited a bit longer. And then this final incident was the retirement from engine trouble that came as I went down the straight there. So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. That's good. Wheel line P2 in class again, fuel saving, it was looking good. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have to stop again at that point, and I think the leaders might have had to. Oh. So you can just feel it starting to go so soon there. It's because the steering wheel just starts to go light on you. No, see now it's starting to come in now into early shift up into third as we go underneath that bridge. That was just called the U-turn back then, it wasn't the Sunset Bend, which is what it's called now. Just run through here, good stuff. Just again, sitting in fourth to save fuel, letting it run, also try and mind the tyres by not being on the throttle too soon there. Anything else? That's good. we can be a bit more liberal with our lines now that the cones have been knocked down, but there are track limits and they will be enforced. So yeah, I did do a much shorter race. I don't remember where, maybe Mossport I think I did, and somehow I managed to get pinged there, or maybe it wasn't Mossport, maybe it was another track, I don't remember, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I got pinged for track limits, so that's certainly a thing. We'll just try and run our own lines. Again, I'm not seeing any cars off, I'm not, you know, seeing any dramas really. We are robbing to 16th however, so that's a plus. Sitting 32 seconds now behind the next car. So we should start to climb back up the order slowly as cars pit in. Now that we are running surprisingly clean here, no traffic really showing up, we can really just run our own marks and look after the tyres and manage our fuel without really having to negotiate traffic. That's good. They're still sitting there. What a view they have. What a view. That's not a bad gig, is it, if you like motorsport? But granted, somebody might, you know, crash into a massive fireball and then you have to run out. And then that's not great, but... yeah. Clipping the grass there, but that's fine. If anything, that kind of just helps the car rotate a bit. I'm pushing too hard through there. Just got to be mindful. As you saw in that pit stop, I did put on a different set of tires. I put the 655s on the front and the 430s on the rear. I think it's 430s on the rear. That just is what it says in the Power and Glory thing, tyre chart, that you should do, because the 430s should go on the rears only, it says. Break it down here. I'm surprised to see nobody's caught those on the inside, but plenty of people have hit the cones on the outside, it seems. A gap is starting to develop. But really, I am very surprised to see that nobody's off. It does appear that whoever's in 15th has pitted, because that gap is dropping pretty rapidly by now. That is an indication to me that they're in the lane. 2 races, yes, indeed, 2 races. We are at the races. At one of the absolute greatest racing circuits in the known universe. I mean, what really beats this? Le Mans? Absolutely. The Nürburgring, Bathurst? And then I think a very close fourth in that, you know, in that company would have to be Sebring. Really, it is just such a wonderful track to drive. Modern day Sebring 2. It's a bit more technical. This really is just a... it just is... I'll try and get the words out of my mouth instead of just stumbling over it because I had to think for a moment. But modern day Sebring is less straight, connected by corners, which this really is. I mean, the only truly technical part of this is here, and we just overcooked that in a bit. Again, with perhaps susceptible with these R2 overdriving, you don't want to be doing that. Just run it through here. And the track is clear in front, so we just have a quick look down here and see, yep, it's all looking good down there, so we'll carry on. Lift off early on the brakes. There's no point being late on the brakes here when you're just trying to fuel extend and look after your car. So it will be very interesting to see if it manages to sort of sift itself out, because of course with the different classes and such, we may be pitting at very different points. The slower classes, as with real life, might actually go a lot longer than the top classes. Like, we are probably one of the most thirsty cars out there, so it makes sense that we're stopping a lot sooner. But if you look at modern day motorsport, certainly in IMSA, you've got the DPIs which are stopping every 35 to 40 minutes in green flag running, and then you've got the GTEs and GT3s which are stopping about every hour or so. So you're naturally going to have some overlap right there, if, you know, providing we don't have any safety car running. And I would imagine the same is present here, especially with those older cars. So just lift up here, overtake past, clear, pull back over, just racing into the sunset. Oh yeah, and the windscreen does get dirty. It's not very smooth. It's not like iRacing where it appears as the track rubbers in, and if you're running closely behind someone, we're in hot, we're in hot, we're in hot. Oh, there's a fuel to getting that right. Yellow flag, is somebody off? No, maybe that was just a yellow flag for me. I think I just ran too wide then, got a yellow flag for myself. No safety car in this race. We are green or just with local yellows. That's all we get here. We are just on the limit of entering that corner at that speed. I think there might be some yellow flags out there for people peeling off into the pits. But yeah, we're now going to start jumping a lot of people, I think, because I can see a lot of activity in the lane. We're up into 11th, 9th. We pitted from 8th, didn't we? I think we did. So that means that we are now roughly where we need to be. We might have been jumped there by one car, but I'm not sure. As we approach here, we'll just sit behind, because it really does feel too much like a Max Verstappen move to taking him into that one, because that would have been a closing gap, and that's just not on really. Also, like a pro tip, what we don't want to be doing here is gun it when we're off, because you know that might put us into the wall, Max Verstappen. And that really was the stupidest thing I have seen in a long time in a motor race. Like, Jesus Christ, there was somebody at Sebring though, Daytona, who did the same thing. He must obviously have seen what Max Verstappen did and thought, I'll do that, he's in Formula 1. And he hit the wall very hard. Idiot. Oh well, we'll crack on, run on race, remember to fuel save and find the engine. As we approach, oh, we've taken these two before, I think. Oh, they've traded positions if it's the same two cars. Who is driving that thing? It's Beckwith and somebody else. Is that Moss? Oh, we're coming up to Sir Sterling Moss again. Oh, mate. We're just stuck in here behind the 38. He's suitably far behind, so we're not really holding him up too much. On the throttle right there. Shift up to use him, drag up behind. Go to the right, give him plenty of room. Give him a wave. See they're swerving out there. Approaching Sir Moss. That is one of the absolute biggest names in motorsport, right in front of us. Driving a black Ferrari. He's put his headlights on. Give him lots of room for Sterling Moss. We're driving that 300 SL Gold. Oh, I mean not even going because that was open top, but oh, one of the prettiest cars ever made for sure. Lift off, brake here. We'll also go ahead and put our headlights on, seeing as the AI did. Have a look down here. Oil temperature, fuel pressure looks good. Fuel, water temperature, oil pressure is all looking fine. Well, certainly they haven't moved since I last looked, so I'm assuming they're fine. But I can really just want to step out on you into that one if you come in a bit hot. I think we're getting some yellow flags in this final sector just from people entering the pits. That's where we are. We're up into 9th and now we're up into 8th, so we should now have retaken the position we had before. So that's good. Oh, and one of the 4 GTs emerging out here. He's going to take his line through here. Yep. So that's 7, so we've gained a lot here actually if we did come out in, I'm assuming we come out, or we pitted from 8. If we did, we've gained a lot. If we haven't, we dropped a lot of time here. Are we going in for a Max Verstappen here? Late lunge. He's behind us, he was in cold tyre, so I feel somewhat vindicated by that move. But we won't really argue at this point more than we need to if he makes a lunge on us at some point. He can have it back. We still have an hour and 35 to go. This really is not the point to be making silly battles on track. We can save that for later on. So 7. Oh, we're off. We're off. We're off wide. We're off in the grass. Mowing the lawn. In a Corvette C2, of course. Oh, it sounds so good. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of listening to this engine. Oh. You just imagine, like, if you were a child back then, your parents took you out here to Sebring because Dad wanted to go motor racing and Mum was too afraid to speak up, otherwise she'd get a slap. So you were off here, you come out here, and then this thing just drove past you in the Ford GT40, the Porsche 906s. Oh mate, it would have rocked your fucking world. Like, I remember being at the start of Le Mans Series 7, I was awestruck. Like, the word awesome is overused because that was all inspiring. It was awesome. Like, there was just nothing you could do, just descent. Like, the helicopters, you could see them, you could hear them approach, you could hear the roar coming from the start line, and then they blast through, and it truly is. All I could do was to stand there and applaud like an absolute idiot. Like, if you ever wondered why are those people applauding those cars, they can't hear them in it. It's simply because you are awestruck, you are consumed by just an emotional response to what you are experiencing. It is crazy. Oh, we got a bit of an action here. Some lap cars getting involved. Dicing through the lap cars. That's what we don't want to be doing. That's really what we don't want to be doing. That's stupid of us. Oh, we're gaining on 6. We're going to get 6, I think. I think Win 60 is in the pits. This could be crucial. This is a crucial moment. This could be absolutely crucial for the motor race, as the Australians would say. Been watching some Bathurst lately. My God, that race is good. But here we are. Yes, yellow flag, yellow flag, yellow flag. As we're coming through here, we're in 5th now. Oh my goodness, would you believe it? We jumped into 6th. Oh, and now we're pushing wide because we were excited about being in 6th. Gotta mind that. Whoops, slow down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Through here in 3rd. That was the wrong gear, but whatever. Let's calm it down here, let's calm it down here. Breathe, remember to breathe, drink some water. You wouldn't be able to do that in the real race car, of course. This really wasn't a well-timed drinks point for me, was it? The shortest straight in the track. We'll just try and go around. Yeah, that's looking fine. It is a DT behind. We are actually battling a Ford GT right now. 2 Ford GTs are behind us. And I've taken them legit through that pit cycle. That's very exciting. No, we're going to have to do that one. That's a bit naughty of me. Because he's going to be pretty strong down into this braking. So, but we made it through. Oh, but we've spun the rears. Spun the rears in 2nd as well a bit. So just remember here not to be consumed by this battle. We're not battling these cars. They're not in the same class as we are. However good it does feel to be racing these cars, we are batting against someone in a different league than us. So just mind that, be sensible here, run our own race. If one of those GTs go for it, they're just going to come through. We're not going to argue that. Lift off, coast. Brake shift down to 3rd. Oh, they're side by side behind us. Oh, it's pretty fruity now. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's getting toasty behind us. Oh, fairly aggressive there, aren't they? We've still got 2 laps of fuel. Our temps are all looking good. Pressures are fine. So, yeah, we just crack on here. Oh, the side-by-side still running down here. On the inside, there's one of the white with black noses. That's the 7 car, and the 7 car, he's going to come through. Oh, we can hear him now. He's going to pull up here. Look at that speed. Yeah, and here he comes. Here comes the 14. Oh, but he's really under brakes. He was massively on the ragged edge through there. We have a good run here. We'll pull out here, try and see if we can't get the 14 again. Who's that driving up ahead? That's Graham Hill! That's Graham Hill, mate! Fuck me! Oh, mate, I can just imagine having been a gentleman driver back in the day, coming in here with the likes of Graham Hill and Sterling Moss Oh, we've gone. We went on the throttle too early there. But yeah, you can just imagine coming here, even as a spectator. We get to see these people, Graham Hill, Sterling Moss. I believe Pedro Rodriguez is in here as well somewhere. Jim, wow, he had a moment. I mean, Ken Miles is in this. It's everyone. It's absolutely everyone that was worth having in the late 60s. Just incredible to think of, really. And now we're now being held up here by this Ford GT. So yeah, we were definitely making some pretty good gains through that pit cycle if we ended up jumping those two Ford GTs, because they're definitely a group, at least 4 or group 6 entry. So they would have had their leg up on us for sure. Of course it's... Oh, he's off! The 14's gone off there! But yeah, it's very weird to think that the Ford GT40 is a product of Slough. Not Slough, Tennessee. Oh, we massively checked up right there behind because he moved a bit over in this. But yeah, that Ford GT40 developed in Slough. Not Slough, Tennessee, Kentucky, Maryland, any like that. No, Slough, England. You know that? Exotic town of Slough. You don't really go, yes, I'm going to develop my race car, I'm going to go to Slough. Nobody really goes, I want something nice, I'm going to go to Slough. But somehow Ford did, and they created that. I mean, one of the prettiest race cars ever devised. Absolutely spectacular. Obviously featured in the Le Mans 66 film, which is... I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's good. That's great. I'm not really huge on the whole CGI thing, you know. It's just not... While we're going into second, this is the third gear corner, mate. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of CGI and all of that stuff in modern films. Like the old Steve McQueen Le Mans film. Oh yeah, boy. I mean, admittedly, that really isn't... That was just stupid of me, but yeah, that really isn't a proper film as such. It's more of a love story. We've got another Ford GT tucked up right behind us now. He's going to go for it. He's just got the ponies down the straight, but it's a drag race now. It's a drag race. It's the bow tie versus the blue oval, and the blue oval's got that one in the bag. That's Ken Miles, isn't it? It is. Oh goodness me! We've just had Graham Hill. Oh, and who was that other one? Oh, we can't see it, but Ken Miles and Graham Hill. Wow. You just don't get that in a new sim, do you? And you have to drive it like the olden days as well. That's it. Whoa, as we go massively crossed up here, we can do another lap here. I think we have even more fuel extended here. That would make sense given we had a formation lap. So that's huge. I think we're actually doing... I didn't even pay attention to when the first stop was, but we might actually be up to doing quite a significant amount of fuel extending here. Now we just dropped to 0 laps, so that's good. Next time round we'll pit in. But I think we're actually doing a 12-lap stint now, which is pretty significant. That could see us make some pretty big gains towards the end. Oh, and that Ford's just lingering right there in the middle. Oh, he doesn't sound half bad either. Just break it down here. Oh, 2 wheels in the grass. Look at that Mustang. Look at how imposing it looks in the rear wheel mirror. Rear view mirror, not rear wheel mirror. There's no such thing as a rear wheel mirror. Be kind of useless. Yep, wheels round, still goes round. Thank you, mirror. But yeah, he's definitely in a different class than me, because he just has no power down the straight. It's just so good. So pitting in this lap round, but there's no Formula 1 style, you know, last lap dash. We've just got to thrash it around here. We just have to keep running our lines and keep being sensible. Not make too many mistakes, shift up early to watch the engine and just be kind to everything we've got. So I think, yeah, just just as we're about to pit, we are cycled through from the last pit cycle, so this is going to be one hell of an interesting run here towards the end. As we turn in here, run down, and oh, we're in hot, we're in hot, we're in hot, we're in hot! Brain fade! Ah, oh, Shrek IR's gone AWOL again. Clear. I would really like to have a right-hand mirror there. Okay, yeah, but at least we have a pit stop coming up here, so we should be able to just compose ourselves as the car sits still and all of that stuff. And we have run this thing right down to the fumes, it seems. And remember, this is on 2 times fuel consumption. But still, look at how quickly that's going down. That's just double as much as it would have been in real life. This thing's a thirsty old girl. I don't think we're looking at kilometers per litre. I think it's... Oh, we're in hot! What am I doing? Uh-oh, this is bad. That was just stupid of me. There we go, one of the 906 is through. So the boys will have a lot more work to do now in the pit lane. That's just... What? Apparently we don't have any damage, which is quite spectacular. I think, so yeah, we'll fill it up here, all looking good. During that stop I also took a moment to save the situation, or save the race as it is right now, just in case we have some kind of technical issues. We've only dropped to 17th so far, so that's very good actually. That's certainly a lot better, so we might be up a position now. But I'm genuinely surprised we haven't seen any dramas out here other than the moment we just had. Because in just about every other race I've done, there would have been some dramas already of cars lying where they shouldn't. We'll go ahead here and just run it in. Let's see. So I think we're now about the point where my car gave up. No, hang on, wait, no. No, I'm very confused now. Just, yeah, I did run a 2-hour race. No, hang on, no, we've only done an hour now, haven't we? Yeah, we've done about an hour now. So, no, I'm wrong, I'm very, very wrong. That will be in about an hour's time, yeah, where my engine gave in. So it will be quite interesting once we get to that point to see if the car's still running. But we're now back out here. It's definitely getting darker. We just have to remind ourselves that we are on... Oh Jesus, we're coming in hot here because yeah, we're on cold tyres. Cold new Goodyears. The way we are on a heavy load of fuel in as well. Just run back here, see again, because I really don't feel comfortable pushing through here because he's just far more nimble than I am. You just kind of accept that that's not a part of the track that I am particularly strong at. But see, here we can make a move up the outside, round the side of him. Give him a wave for moving over for us. That was very kind of him. Just lift off again. Just lift and coast. Fuel save. And just look after the car. Whoops. Somebody spin off there. You can see some tyre tracks further in there. I've just got to mind the car. Damage might be turned off somehow, even though I'm running this on simulation settings, and damage like turned on from my understanding. But like us hitting that and the car being fine seems very wrong, but what do I know? I know I'm building tough back in the old days, but I doubt I'll build them tough like that. So we'll just charge down here. That is a texture issue over there, admittedly. But this is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the better looking GTR2 tracks that I've tried. Some of the historic venues are just straight up conversions from Grand Prix Legends, which just isn't really up to snuff these days. But this looks really good for a game that's 16 years old, I believe. that's how slow you need to be. It feels so weird to be going into a corner that slow in a race car, because you just feel that you need to go in faster than that, but really you don't. So we just run through here, P17, 15 seconds behind. Just let it run here, off throttle. Lifting, coasting, minding the engine. That's really what we got to do here. That's what endurance racing was back in the day. It's very odd to see, or to think, that endurance racing is what Formula 1 used to be, in that it is just flat out run as hard as you can for the duration of the race and hope that you get a good result out of it. And Formula 1 has become what endurance racing was, which is to, where the key factors of, you know, being a good driver isn't to be fast, it's to be sympathetic towards your machine, not necessarily towards your engine, but towards your tyres. Everyone is all about tyre management these days, about making sure they're going to deliver the performance you need throughout your stint, which is pretty much what you were doing here, just with the car itself and making sure you could fuel and you weren't being stupid. And that really is what Formula 1 is these days, just minding the car. You've got to run your fuel norms in Formula 1 too, because you don't really have enough fuel, so you've got to be mindful of that too. But yeah, it's weird to think that endurance racing is just Formula 1, what they used to be, just drivers thrashing their cars about as hard as possible without really having to worry too much about anything else. Like, you don't have to mind, certainly in America, fuel and tyres as much, because you have so many bloody safety cars over there and they're so bloody long. Like, the only true endurance race left is the Nürburgring 24 hours, and that is a hill I will die on. It is the last motor race where you know, safe from weather, that you won't have any interruptions. It is just green flag running from start to finish, and just the number of cars running and just the fact that it is the bloody Nürburgring, you're just a different mindset to it. It is that old school, right, okay, we're gonna back off here every lap, we're gonna have 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20% in reserve, just because we don't know when we're going to catch that traffic, we don't know when we're going to catch some oil, we don't know what it's going to be like, the weather could have changed completely. So it is the last endurance race and one of the absolute best races of the year. I mean, it is just so wonderful to watch. Just the great endurance races like Bathurst, that's the 1000 and the 12-hour race, Le Mans, and I would even say Sebring, they do, and especially the Nürburgring, they have a sense of you going somewhere, which doesn't make sense, but the tracks they really have they have this such character to them. Like Bathurst is fairly short, about 6 kilometers, but the feel of that place is just something else entirely. It just feels so different to drive compared to any other modern track, because you kind of got to be very mindful that things can go very wrong if they do go wrong. Like, you're not going to have a tiny crash there. You're either fine, you're not fine, or you're really not fine. And you're just going to have to run the race that way. It's just... And Le Mans is just... Well, it's bloody Le Mans, innit? You can't really say anything other than that. It's changed over the years, yes, but... it's still Le Mans. You're still doing 13 kilometers around some French public roads. Like, it's just special. And Sebring is so tricky in itself, because with the bumps, perhaps not necessarily here, but certainly in modern day, because I don't think they did a lot of changeover in the concrete slabs. They're the original ones. Some of it has been asphalted over, but other than that, it's pretty much the standard. And here we go. Now we're really into lap traffic, and now we're going to have to mind where we go. And now there's a car that's disappeared in my rear view mirror, which I don't like. Oh, but he's quite far back actually. Got one of the slower Corvettes up the road. So we're just going to mind our own race. We've got the next car is 3 seconds off the road. Would that be the Porsche 906 that we can see? It might be, you know. We're just going to have to back off here because I don't think we're anywhere near close enough to taking the 5 here. Oh, but he's absolutely parking it. Christ alive. What are you doing? We'll just try and back off here. Cut in here. Get on the power a bit earlier, although it did slide under us. Just nip around here. What are you thinking, man? You can't just brake that early when you've got a car behind you, especially a car that's going to lap you. Oh, yes, we've got one of the Porsche 906 is going past the Jag E-Type. Wow. We'll just move over here early and just pull past him. As we are indeed, it is the Porsche up ahead. Strange, beautiful machines, those Porsches. They look incredibly futuristic. Like, look like something out of the Jetsons. Look at that. Especially with the blue tinted rear windscreen. Just quite something else to view. A sub 2 litre prototype, so we're not really battling. I'm not seeing anybody on the lane, so... Oh yeah, somebody was in the lane because we just gained a spot. Oh, we're out wide, but that Porsche's out wider. But he's managed to get it up because he's probably weighs a bit less than I do. And also he's cast lighter. I'll just work through the gears here. Just see down there just some airplanes. If you miss your braking point or you have a brake failure. Hello, aircraft. Yeah, we're right behind him. I mean, if we can go around him, it would be nice, but you're just going to see him now. Just watch him pull away from us through here. Yeah, because he doesn't have the power we do, but he's lighter and he's got far better steering. If you just look at how low he is, he's got a much lower centre of gravity in that thing. But now, all American ponies are all out and screaming. Let's come across another E-Type. That one looks to be British Racing Green. Very nice. Yeah, we're just minding ourselves right here and seeing what we can do. Don't want to be held up too much by the Porsche, but at the same time I'm not going to do any kind of low percentage moves on him. There's just absolutely nothing to gain from that. Oh, we lit up the rears. Who is that? That's Joe Siffert. See, everybody's here. It's Joe bloody Siffert. Fucking hell. He's moving over, but he's going to cross over. We're going to just coast down here. Fuel save galore. On the brake seat down there, he's just a bit slow in as well. That seems to be a weak point for the AI. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, of course. Just have to sit myself up here a bit. I've been to the fourth, we can grab a bit more to drink. That's good. Water's nice and good at this time. The 49 prototype just going past him. We're going to take the E-Type as well before we reach our braking point. Left, coast, brake. Into that, we need to slow down a bit more here because we're offline. Yeah, we just have a bit more room on the exit now thanks to those cones being knocked over. That is very nice indeed. Although you still get penalised if you run out too wide. But yeah, it's just a bit nicer to not have that wall of cones. Just round we go, left, brake. I think we actually got it slowed down quite nicely there. Just got to be mindful of when you go on the throttle, because if you come out too hard, you're going to be very close to that right there, and that sounds like something that could ruin your whole day. E15, 10 seconds behind the next car up as... Whoa! Yeah, you can see why they moved the pit exit in recent years to something slightly less dangerous than that. Or we're going to push out wide here. Like again, you can be quite liberal now with your lines through some of these sections. Because those cones have been knocked over. So we're just going to run a marked head run game. We're gaining a bit on the guide 14th. So it's looking decent. There's some smoke lingering there, it looked like, but it doesn't seem that anybody has issues up ahead, so I think we are okay for now. The last thing we want is somebody to have some sort of catastrophic failure, either right in front or right behind, in case of brakes, because that could end up taking us out. One has to be careful what they say, because it might come true, you know. That's old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Oh, here we go, here we go. Somebody's blown up. Oh my goodness me. Oh, that's an engine gone. Jesus wept. Who was that? Is there any kind of slippery stuff down on the road? No, yeah, definitely yellow flag. Oh, it's one of the small Lotus 7s, I think. Christ alive, he just blew up. Look at that. Have you seen anything like that before? I have, coming down pretty much that same straight. I was coming up upon some slower cars in the 2-hour race I did, where one of the leading cars, engine blew. I just saw something bright red bounce down the track and then the whole engine was on fire. It was quite scary, to be honest, when you're doing a race like this. Oh, that vet's closing in quickly, but I think I was very slow through here. I don't think they simulate anything going down on the track when they blow an engine though, because otherwise I think we would have skidded off back there. Well, we've got a 4GT approaching. I think it's that beautiful 5 car coming in from behind. I just had to mind that. And if it is, we should be getting blue flags in a moment. And yeah, we'll just hold our line and let him go past us, because we're not racing that. 4 laps remaining in this stint. Oh, it is the 5. Oh, mate. Yeah, mate, it is. As we've got more traffic exiting here. Oh, that's going to hold us up. That's going to be not good. I think we can take him right here at the inside. Yeah. So he's now splitting us on the GT. I mean, it's hard really to define what is the prettiest race car, because there's so many different factors, isn't there? Oh, definitely. Oh, we're overdriving here, but yeah, definitely that 4GT is up there. I'll also say that I'm not a Porsche guy, but that 917. Oh, wowzers. Yeah, he's right on us now. He is right on us. He's off in the dirt. He's off in the dirt. He's back on the road. He's definitely pushing hard. Just gonna have to be early hit. Yeah, we're now being given blue flags. Blue flags, yep. Come on. Come on, through. I'm waving you through, mate. You can see my hand. Who's that? That's... Oh, fuck, Backburn. That doesn't sound nice. Yeah, I think we're now in the process of being lapped by the race leaders here, because they've got another 4GT40 behind us. So, we'll just try and run our lines here, not get too focused on that. We'll just have to work the way around us as we're catching one of the smaller Lotuses. Got out early and pull past. Interestingly, I haven't been given a blue flag for the cup. Oh, contact! Contact! He's hit somebody! He's punted him off! Oh my goodness, the race leader has taken out a car! Oh mate, yeah, you can go through. I don't want to get involved with that. That's a 4 car. That's the one that punted us off earlier. Who's that? That's Hawkins. Whoa. Just run our own race. Don't get bogged down in that. What they do is up to them. Well, yeah, I definitely think the leaders are coming through us now. We'll just try and focus, mind our own race. If they're going to overtake us, they're going to overtake us. Mate, this is the second gear corner. You know this. You've done this 27 times so far. Still showing 4 laps, so we're looking good in terms of fuel. So hopefully we are fuel extending enough to where we can skip over a stop at the end. Second gear in here. See, it's definitely getting better when we're not flinging it off into the fence. Oh, that's a bad exit right there. Let's see if the race leader, he hasn't pitted this time round, of course, but he might do at some point if he picked up too much damage from the crash he had there with one of the back markers. Just being a bit impatient there in traffic for him, I think. He was just not being circumspect about his driving. It was too forceful, and you know, you just got to respect the fact that they're in this too. He clearly didn't, and he paid the price right there. I mean, he could have picked up some pretty significant damage here, as he's again going side by side at a ridiculous point. I mean, we're cutting a bit hard there as well, and we're a bit too fast through. I'll just try and run our own race now and just focus on that. The next car's 9 seconds off the road. Has he had a drama though? Because that is dropping pretty significantly. We can't launch past him, so we just fall in here behind. As the Corvette behind is actually for position. He's dealing with, I think, with one of the Ford GTs as well though. We've got the Goodyear blimp above the track. It's all here. We've got the yellow Ford GT pulling through. So we're pulling out here to take the slower car right there. Especially here, the yellow flag zone. Is there still somebody off, I wonder? No, maybe it's still just yellow flag for a bit of debris. Just mind it here, not too hot in, just through we go. They're clearly not that much faster than us, so are they just able to go much longer than us in terms of pit stop, and that's why they put a lap on us? Because like, he hasn't really pulled that far away from us, has he? Certainly not anywhere near what I would expect from a car that would be significantly faster than us. And it's not like we've had any kind of serious dramas. We had the off, but we haven't like had incidents that have stopped us, you know, a lot of time. Yeah, here comes the blue flag. We'll just run our line. So he got a better exit there, I think. Here comes the 4GT number 8, who is, that's Whitmore. Just brake, just let it off, let it roll through here, just a bit of throttle through the corner. So we are closing in on the next car up. That's a positive sign for us. Just roll through. We're actually closing in a lot. Has he had dramas? Or is it just a slower car that's up there just due to the pit cycle? I'm not certain if you pick up punctures as well. If you do, that could also be a factor as to why some cars might end up being a bit slow. Or if mechanical dramas are just related to your drivetrain or steering of the brakes. But yeah, we've got a car for position right up our chuff, so we've got to be mindful of that as well. But again, it's early days, so kind of hold the clutch through that one to just help steady it a bit more for the exit. As the Ford GT is trying to go past the Mustang. Is that the Mexican Mustang? It looks very Mexican to me. Had some dramas for that in qualifying. Just got caught behind on a good lap and just ruined that. That's how it goes in endurance racing. It is indeed the Mexico. Go past that. There we are. No point for them to fight. Again, it is just a lap car being taken, not for position. Just run through here. We're closing in quite significantly. Is it the Ford GT up ahead? Do we have a Ford GT with dramas? Oh, we're overdriving here. We're drifting it. We might have a Ford GT with problems. We're closing in on it awfully fast. It has to be that car. We'll have to wait and see if he's pulling into the pits or if they're just going to be nursing a problem perhaps until the end of the race, because there's certainly no way we should be on straight pace on him as we are. Oh, just a bit messy there. But yeah, we have that other car just right in that rearview mirror all the time, just sitting there. They're sitting there waiting for me to make a mistake. He might not be happy that we're fuel saving as much as we are lifting, coasting and that. We might just be a bit slow where he is fairly fast. Now that Ford GT's gone through, but we've got somebody else. Oh, he's got a good run through there, but he couldn't make a pass. See, that's what you've got to do. You've got to time your overtake to swell in the best place possible, and that just wasn't the case because you're going for that closing gap, and that's just not sensible. You see that on the Nürburgring crash videos as well, or near misses or whatever it is they call them, you know. Just people on tourist laps who just don't know when you can go for a gap and when you can't, because you can't always go for a closing gap. Like some people you see through the foxhole there, they try and go for a gap and it's just not going to be there when they're up the inside of them. And especially when you see that with a motorbike, where the car chucked it up the inside of a motorbike right there, you just have to go, what are you thinking? You don't belong on a racetrack. Just because you can afford a BMW or a Porsche or an Audi doesn't mean you're qualified to drive them on a racetrack. We'll just settle in here. Remember our marks, we are closing in, definitely. I'm going to assume they have got some sort of significant steering or other kind of drama right here, because they're very slow through that first sector right there. But it's a bit twisty and turny, and certainly I'm not strong through that, so you might have had an incident at some point. Two laps to go in this stint. I must remember to look after my fuel. Not get too aggressive, just turn laps to where we end up dropping, you know, to the point where we don't have enough fuel to make it back. Because yeah, he seems very strong here. Like where it's the fast straight bits, he's good. He doesn't have a power deficit, he's got some sort of handling deficit. Or a brake deficit. Oh, the brakes are starting to wear out a bit, I think. You can definitely feel them. The brake pedal just feels a bit longer now for me, even though I'm running a low cell brake pedal, so it wouldn't really feel, but it just feels like I need to press just a bit harder, and it's just a bit more woolly in its response when I press it. There we'll check in behind this Ford GT40 driven by Scott. Lifting coast, of course. Down through the gears. Yeah, those Ford GT40s are definitely not got the outright pace to be a lap ahead of us, because we can still see them just up there. So yeah, that's definitely a thing to keep in mind. We're overdriving. This is so deceptively slow, and it's even tighter now. Oh, it's more open now. Wait, hang on, what is it? yeah, this is more open than the modern one, but it feels a lot faster in the modern cars because you have all that downforce and all of that grip. Yeah, we were wide on this guy. Oh, but he's going to go for that line. Oh, but now he's made a mistake right there. We're side by side coming up here into second corner. Oh, we just let him go here. No point really putting ourselves off as we approach tower corner, tower turn. Oh, but we're now being rammed up the backside by the Corvette, so he's definitely giving us some V8 supercar Morse coding there, telling us to get a hurry on. Oh, we're now in a danger of overdriving. Oh, somebody's off, somebody's off, somebody's off. We probably should have a yellow flag for that, you know. Just look him up there in the rearview mirror. He's gone off. He's gone off. The vet's gone off back there. He's had some moments right there. But I think we have another lap in this. And we must remember again not to get tricked into taking part in a race right here, because we're not racing for the win right now. There's still an hour to go. And with time scale issues and that, we just need to mind the race and mind the car. Not overdo anything. Just run our lines and do fuel conservation and tyre preservation, all of that stuff. We'll see once we come around there to the U-turn, see what we are dealing with in terms of fuel and dive in if we need to. It definitely feels like we don't have quite as much traffic as perhaps we had earlier on, so people might have had problems in front of us or around and retired. Yeah, but driving like in blind like we are here is very, very much what they did back then. They didn't have any radio comms. They just had pit boards with some information on, telling the drivers what they wanted. So you're going to be left to make up your own decisions of what to run to. They could tell you go faster, go slower, maintain pace. And they certainly weren't able to inform you if you were starting to have problems with the car. Which, you know, you do these days. The team probably know even more about the car than the driver does. Like the driver telling the team, yeah, I got a puncture, they probably already know because they've got all that data going. Oh, it's going to be tight on fuel. It's going to be very tight on fuel. The decision really has to be made right about now. I'm going to trust what I'm seeing. I'm going to trust what I'm seeing here, and ooh, we're going for another lap here. This feels risky. This feels very risky because we are knocking on empty, and yeah, we're just going to let that vet through because we can't really argue that one, can we? We haven't climbed as high in this stint. We're only up to 13, but maybe we won't drop as far. Oh, that was a problem there with the gears. We'll run through here, just mind ourselves out here. We've now got a decent gap back. Maybe those two will come together in front and give me the position just as we bring it into the lane. That would be beautiful, I think. But yeah, we definitely got one of the slower Lotus. Oh, I mean, it's actually bloody happening. He's gone for an overtake on the GT. And they were very close there for a moment. This might have compromised the GT's run down the straight here. We're going to go up the inside, side by side with the 59. We've got lap cars in front. Oh, we've got to be careful here. But yes. Oh, we're going to have to back out of that one. But yeah, we got the out. Oh no, I've cocked it. I was too busy looking in the mirror. But yeah, we had the Alpine there, that split it. Just a moment there when they were looking in the mirrors when I should have been paying attention to what the car was doing. But we'll try to bring it home. Definitely pitting in this time. Boy, that is the car. But pitting in this time. Definitely starting to feel the fatigue now, especially with having to talk on top. And we are now very much approaching the point where the car broke down in the first race I did here a few days ago now. So I'm getting close to where I will know if I've been kinder to the car than I was then. Well, you can't really say that, of course, because there's an element of randomness to that as well. But we're just out here trying to see if we can't get past this guy before we pit, but really there's no point. Well, we should here, because that is one of the sub 2 litre cars. So we should just pull out here now, nice and early, give him plenty of room. There he goes. Buenos Nitos. Slow car there. Wow, that's actually a corner here that we need to brake for, and I didn't. And now we're going to be running massively wide. That's nowhere near as wide as I thought we would be. So yeah, the Porsche is going to come through again, I think. I think we might have the ponies to hold him off. Yeah, we do. We definitely have the ponies on him. He's not going to be much of a problem for us. But oh, now it's starting to go. I think the tyres have been worn out. We just let him through there on the inside. Oh, we're coming in together. That's nice. They just bring it in here. Stop fuel. Everything's looking fine. We've got no damage to speak of. So yeah, a full stop, some new goodies, and let's just go down and see. Yeah, damage. We can't even go down to the damage, so we're looking okay. We have dropped to 18th. We may not have dropped that far though. Is that that was a 5, but that's not on my list. So we've dropped to the Porsche. It seems he's certainly further up the road. It's one of the Ford GT zooms past. But yeah, it's very difficult to figure out in this where you are in class and in the race with all the different pit cycles and that. Oh, just change our position back to where it was so we have roughly the same references. I felt like he cut that one a bit much, like, but we'll crack on here. It's all looking fine and dandy. Well, remember there's a corner here and you are on cold new tyres and a heavy fuel load. He's just still sitting there. So yeah, that's pretty much the only car I think we've seen sitting trackside from accident or mechanical issues. We just have to hope that nobody has any further dramas near us. And just remember now to just, having taken that movement, we can now try and change our focus back to what's happening and run our own race and not make any more mistakes, because that is not what we need. That's just on the limit of what we can do, to be fair, through that. We're definitely reaching the point where I had dramas in the first race here, so I must have been kinder to the car this time round. He's moving over. Is he going to chop over? Too late for that now. Just give him a wave as we pull past. Thank you. Just from being so kind to just move out of our way. Obviously you can't do that in the game, but I can do that here, which I am. Oh, pushing too hard here. We are on new tyres. So it's easy to be lured into that sense of, you know, you have more grip than you do. We just try and run our marks and do our own thing. I've said that a lot, but really that is all you have to do here. And I think we should have one more pit stop coming up here. And the later we take that, the better, because quite frankly it's going to be shorter, and it would be a gamble to not take tyres, but that is an option. Or only taking rear tyres too, that is also an option. The rears, of course, are the ones we use to put down power, so that is the crucial set of tyres here. As we're closing in on the Porsche, it is an interclass battle, that, because we are not in the same class. I'm in a GT over 20, over 2 litres. He's in a prototype under 2 litres. And here we go, we've got some 4GTs merging into the fray. It seems we're 1 4GT. That's a 1 of Ken Miles. Yes, indeed it is. Joe Sifford in the Porsche and Scooter Patrick, it appears, in the Corvette up the road. That's not a bad lineup, is it? We're not battling the Corvette, or well, we're not battling the 4GT. We can hope that he's not going to leave us much of a gap there to follow him through in. And we are apparently just very happy right there with that car sitting off track. But here we go now as the run. Come into 4th gear, giving him room. Through we are, but he might have a go at me coming down into the braking zone here. We are not battling the Corvette, even though it's the same kind of Corvette that we are in. So he must be a lap down, so that again tells you about the differences. Just we're in the same car, but just difference in pace. Maybe he's had some dramas, maybe he's had some contact that's taken him out. We don't know that. We've not been informed, of course, by the team. But we'll just run through here. It's starting to feel good, this. Just look after the car and be gentle. She's a good girl, this. She's a good girl. She knows what she's doing. She's got her tempers, that's for sure. She's a lot of fun to drive. As Ken Miles seems to be having trouble there with Scooter. And let's see if he's going to be a good teammate. Oh, overdriving there again like an absolute idiot. Let's see if he's going to be a good teammate when we close up. He's obviously got a better exit out of that corner than we did. But we're just charging down. He's 6 seconds to the good, the next car in class. We'll see when we catch him. Oh wow, that was... Did we blow the engine there? Because that was... Nope, we didn't. That was far too early to change down. That could have ended our race, but here we are. He was bogged down by traffic. Through we are. There he is in the mirror. We can pull back in. That was risky right there. That's not what we need to be doing. Just need to mind ourselves here. Oh, okay. Around the outside at the U-turn. You are braver than me. You are braver than me. He's pulled in behind, but I'd already committed there to letting a door open on the inside. You really shouldn't be arguing with your teammates when you're a lap down quite like that, mate. We're coming into yellow flags here. Yellow flags, yellow flag. Any incident that we can see? Oh, we ran a bit wide there, but no, nothing to see here. It seems that he's got back, so maybe it was a yellow flag for him having a moment right there. Not sure if I had any say in that or not. Certainly wasn't trying to cause an incident. Yeah, there's a good gap behind. The next car's 4 seconds off the road, and we are gaining places now again in the pit cycle. Will it be one of the 4 GTs? It pretty much has to be. I doubt it's the Lotus 7 up the road. It's that 4 GT, the slow GT. That's the one, innit? Yeah, it's Scott face. If I weren't overdriving like that, we'd actually catch him. Oh, just off the road there. swing around to overtake. I don't know why I'm still overdriving through that corner. I know I'm doing it, yet it doesn't stop me. Yeah, that's all looking fine. The weird thing is, I don't really have a problem with overdriving down here, but we go down the, well, what is now the Tracy Ullman Straight. Well, technically over there it is. You're running alongside that side, down right over there. So this would be parking area. Well, no, hang on, I'm on the wrong part of the track, ain't I? Yeah, I am. This is the active runway right now. It's very confusing because that feels very... No, 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 I was right. I was right. That is the Tracy Ullman Straight now. Let's see here, it'll be interesting to see if we're going to pick up even more positions through here on this pit stops. No, we're not. We're just forcing ourselves wide for no discernible reason. Easy on the throttle as well. You don't want to overdo it and again pitch the car into a spin like we did earlier. Just to be easier on the engine and fuel saving as well, of course. Old is helping out on that front. Just mind your race and don't get caught up in stupid things again. .35 minutes to go. 6 laps to go in the stint, if that number is to be believed, and we don't end up extending to do another lap. I know he's up there, but again we're in different classes, so there's not really any point in me being too aggressive here. Besides, we don't have to be in front now, we have to be in front in 35 minutes, so that's really is what we're aiming for. Hang on, that's a third gear corner, mate. Don't get yourself confused just because you're starting to get tired. I didn't overdrive that one. Oh, hey, drinking. You know, that's a drinking game for you. Technically, you shouldn't be drinking. No, you should be drinking because otherwise you'd just get shit-faced far too early in the video. Yeah, night is now settled in here at Sebring, Sarasota County, Florida. Slightly fast through there, but the tires went screaming. Oh, wow, somebody's had a big moment there. All of those cones gathered about. Yeah, that looks fine. All those gauges look good. See, that's the thing, you just got to be patient in this. There's no rushing this. The car just is slow. It's a slow lumbering thing. You have to respect that, and you have to be slow in order to mind the car as well. But here we go. I think he had a bad exit there. Just side by side. Okay. I was trying to slow him to let him through. We can't see where he is. He's now behind us. Good. Next car's 10 seconds off the road. On my notes I don't have any of the GTs written down. So we'll just hopefully see that we end up cycling to the front as we get towards the end of the race. I think we are looking good with fuel. I think we are extending quite a bit here. I would have liked to get that triumph in between me and the GT, but that just seemed a bit cheeky really, didn't it? Although here we go. That's the stuff. Ah. Oh no. Wow, what are you doing, you absolute idiot? Fucking hell. What are you playing at? You'd be able to see my hand gestures through the rear screen, because of course these cars would have that. Hold your line, what are you doing? Come on. What is this, a lap for jokers? Have we all just forgotten how to drive a bloody race car? Just because it's dark, but thankfully that full GT got held up there. Now we have to. I see, now we are driving through here because we're excited. Oh, wowzers. Yeah, the car, thankfully it feels fine, tracking straight. Don't think that did too much damage to us. But wow, what just absolutely, that could have put us off. That could have been the end there. Luckily it wasn't. Yellow flags here in this sector. Coming in a bit hot. Not sure why we have a yellow flag out here. Oh, I see lights out there. That's one of the 4 GTs! Is it? No, it's one of the Porsches. Couldn't see who that was, but that was certainly a Porsche. Off right there, one of the 906s. Ooh, it's getting frisky. Pushing hard there. Just too close to that outside wall, really. We'll into P15. Next car's 10 seconds off the road. So we'll have to see if that will be... Oh, car's off there. Car's off. That was an E-type jack, I think. Why am I going so slow? We're in a race, mate. We're not sightseeing. It is a shame that these cars sound so good when you get them above 6,000 RPM, and that really is when they start to sing, and they can't do that now. Because see, now this is when it starts, what I talked about earlier. Cars starting to be littered around now off track, which makes it all very tricky, because you might just see something at the corner of your eye where you aren't expecting it, and that might... So it just now listening out also for the engine. That was a bit early on the brakes, wasn't it, mate? Looking fine down there on the gauges. Really bouncing over there. Oh, we've been pinged for track limits at some point. Would have been earlier when I was a bit pedestrian, when I saw what looked like a jag off. I would be mindful of that. That's at least one ping, so that could give us a drive-through or a stop and go. If we're not careful, so we have to be mindful as we get in towards the final hour, half hour of the race. 29 minutes showing on the clock. Oh, we're in hot, we're in way hot! But we caught it. Didn't spin. Time drop, but not too much. Let's see. Let's come round here, and if anybody is still off the Porsche, right off to the next corner. Just listen to that sing. Why isn't this your national anthem, America? Bloody well shut it. Wow. It's getting toasted out. Yeah, he's still there. That Porsche off. That Scooter Patrick. He's off. Dear, oh dear. And for some reason our windscreen doesn't seem to be getting as mucky through a stint. Is that just because we aren't catching as many cars perhaps as we were earlier? Perhaps it is. Somebody's left 11 since they're on the start line. We are into 14s now. Four laps remaining in this, and it definitely seems like we're very gentle on the fuel here. I think as soon as we are... I'll just go through here without putting the car off. I mean, we're getting into a very good position now. Hold your line, hold your line, hold your line. Why are you squeezing me off, you dingo? What are you playing at? But yeah, as soon as we start to drop down into those 20 minutes to go, I know certain that there's no fuel issues for us whatsoever here. Like, I'm pretty certain now even that we are good with the final stop coming up here. So we can pretty much take that as soon as we can. I think it's for 22 minutes. The game says that the fuel would last us, but I'm pretty sure that I'm a bit more gentle on the throttle for that, especially with the lifting and coasting and all of that and the jazz. So, yeah. It looks like we're coming up to Mexico again. Arriba! Mexico! Brake! Remember to brake. Can't just entertain the half a person who's still watching, who's fallen asleep to this video. Whee! Yep, overdrive. Yeah, we're now just going to hear the next car. He's 7 seconds off the road. It'll be interesting to see over these next coming laps what exactly we can do in terms of getting position through the pit stop cycle. That's me. Oh, corner! Way wide. I'm not 100% sure where the track limits were being enforced there, but we were getting pretty close to that there. So focus here, focus. I just thought take the Lotus and the other Lotus. Just a bit hot there with being offline. Oh, now we're off even wider. Oh god, now we're sideways. Sorry about that. My bad. 7 seconds off the road, P13. I should just let the Triumph, I think it is, just merge out in front. Just got to be mindful we came in a shallow angle there, so we've got to be a bit slower through that corner. Came in way hot there. Why were we doing that? See, you can see I'm starting to fade now. Brain fade is setting in here. Those little mistakes are starting to creep in because we have been going for more than 2 hours now. 2 hours continuous running is it's taxing, especially when you're driving to conserve the car. You just have a different kind of mental. Just constantly reminding yourself, don't go fast, don't go fast, don't go fast, slow it down, bring it down, come on, are we doing the right thing, we're doing the right thing. But if you're just going fast, you're just going, yeah, just brake as late as you can. Yeah, but we just gained massively through. I think he struggled a lot with the traffic we were in. So this will be interesting to see what we can do. He's sitting just about 5 seconds up the road. So you're going to hold your line. You're going to move right. Remember, this is the third gear corner. Whoa, that was a bit early on that throttle. I think we were adequately slowed down there. I just tail brake a bit too much in that I did throw brake. That's going to cost us. That's down one of the longest straights on the circuit. And now we're 22 minutes to go. I've just had the last bit of water, so we're really in it now. But we're definitely gaining. Oh, that's a Porsche 906, I think. That's just pulling out to overtake there, so we definitely got a leg up on those Porsches. That must be very good on fuel though. Let's see here now. We're coming up to the pit lane again, see if there'll be any places taken. No. So perhaps what we've seen here is that we've actually... Ah, stop and go. There we go. I just ran a bit wide there. That's annoying. Why am I slowing down? I need to continue. Ah, so easy to do though. That's going to cost us at least one position. I'd rather do it now though. Just get it done as soon as possible this next time by. Also, we'll have some hot tyres when we come out and a light fuel load, so we're not going to be doing it on like with semi-cold tyres and a heavy fuel load, because you know, mentally that's just going to be us off. Goes up here with a Mustang. The back end is now starting to really let go. I talked about it early on. You have to mind your track limits there, because it can be very difficult to pick out. Oh, we're too late now, innit? We did it. So you're going to cut in front of me or what? Ah. Can't even take our frustration out and just thrash it now. We still have to mind the car for the final 20 minutes of this race. I'd rather have had that early on too, because then we would have spent the race making up for it. But you know, it is what it is. We have to get on with it. We just have to be happy we're not like Scooter Patrick there, just sitting, having to walk back to the pits after your car broke down. Oh my word, come on. I mean, what is even happening here? I mean, this is just the biggest farce I've ever done, isn't it? Christ alive, we've dropped so much time here. Okay. Guys? Guys! What the fuck, mate? What do you want me to do here? I mean, this is just absolutely bloody ridiculous. We're now dropping so much time here. Are you gonna... We're gonna have to try again then. That is absolutely infuriating. Oh! That's us out. That's us out completely. Don't know if I just overdid it in there or what. That was just... But we might as well park it as far as I'm concerned. We're not going to achieve anything here. I mean, we made it this far, so... We made it this far. I'm going to have to take the stop first, though I'm not sure we have enough fuel to do another lap. But the thing is, I don't know what's happened, but my pit request button just doesn't seem to be working. Don't know if I've not found it correctly or not, so I kind of just have to dive in. And I tend to forget to look at that, so yeah. I mean, again, racing driver excuses coming out here. Ah. Being hot. Wow, oh, wow, 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 what's happening? I'm confused now. I'm pointing this way, got it. Oh. Yeah, this is just, it's all coming undone now, isn't it? Oh, you gotta get myself into the right headspace now. Just, come on. There we go, slap the face. Back in it. We're going to have to execute, I think, our pit stop first, then come back around. I'm pretty sure that's going to hit 0, the fuel meter down there, by the time we reach pit lane. And, you know, we don't really want to compound our woes. I mean, what's even happening now? Why can't I drive? You're going to go up the inside, go through, mate. Yeah, see, now it's down to 0, so we definitely need to bring it in here. Oh, now you want it to do that, did you? Oh, we can serve that doing... hang on, can we actually... Guys? Oh shit! I couldn't do it. I had to do that now, and oh shit! What have I done? Oh. Right. I'm going to have to work my magic here if we're not to run out of fuel on this lap. And I'll be honest with you, we are going to. This has just been a comedy of errors. It's like I was Italian for crying out loud. We are now absolute dead last here. Absolute dead last. What was looking so promising has been ruined by me. I don't know if we've saved enough to make it back to the lane now. We have a decent gap back to where we can do this. Oh, we're white. I was just checking in my mirrors there when I really didn't need to be. Yeah, mate, full GT40. Come on, through you go, through you go. We're good now. We can absolutely rag this thing back to the pits. Mate, these tyres are absolutely done for. I guess the only hope we really have is that... Where were you when I tried to do the pit stop? Anyway, yeah, here we are. We don't need that much fuel because we can only do about 3 laps, but we are going to put in... Leave 2 great big 11s. What are they doing, guys? I don't even know what we can get out of this. What we're going to have to do now is just say bugger it to fuel saving and just, you know, we're going to mind the engine, but we're not really going to do the lifting and coasting, are we? In fact, yeah, mate, I'm going to move over. Don't worry about it. Through you are, through you are, through you are. We're just going to hope that somebody will need a late minute splash and dash here, even though we just have 8 minutes to go. And just try and wring whatever we can out of this beast without overdoing the engine. Would you awfully mind getting a hurry up in the Porsche? Alright, Mr. Joe Bezzetta. Well, ciao. I think you're Italian. Sounds very Italian anyway. Oh, we locked the fronts there. We're going to have 2 laps to go by the end of this, and I don't think they're going to pit long enough anyway, but we're going to do what we can. We're not going to go out fight. Well, we're not going to go down without a fight. That's what I was trying to say. It's good to have fresh rubbers on though. We're just going to have to push on here and see what we can do. Scooter's still sitting there. I want to be careful with those late shifts again. That's a bit silly now. don't know if we're going to get the flag this time by, or we're going to have to wait another lap. We definitely got a leg up here on that GT, even though he's squeezing me over. That was a very hairy manoeuvre. I really shouldn't be fighting with a car that's a lap over me quite like I did there. You can't keep up with this, can you, Blue Oval? Suck out. I mean, he's got the straight line speed, but he just doesn't have it when it comes to braking at all. He's definitely got some sort of issue. Yeah, we've now stopped counting up there. So it'll be interesting to see here coming round. Oh, hang on, we were up to 16th, aren't we? We've taken a couple of spots here. Weren't we down to 18th? I feel like we were down to 18th. See, have we finished? I don't think we have. We've got another lap in this. We just have to try as hard as we can here too. Which we don't do by doing that. I don't know why I've started doing that. I know bloody well we're not. I think they look good. Wow, I mean, it's getting real frisky with the rear now. Yeah, there we go, the leader's crossed the line. Wowzers. Well, at any rate, it's far better result than the first attempt I did at this, so I'd take that. You know, you have to look at it like that, I suppose. And any of the mistakes that did happen through this was entirely my own making. Oh. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Damn it! Yeah, we're good. We're going to make it through. Take it. We'll take it. In fairness, the old girl didn't let me down. If anything, I let her down. She did good. She did bloody good. Across the line we are. Let's just bring it to a halt right here. 15th, if we get somebody there at the end. Let's have a look at the results and see. If we're down in 15th. Oh, somebody conked out on the last lap. Oh, mate. Oh, that's absolutely... Oh. Don't know what's going on with these two, because they're not showing up at all. So yeah, we were looking fairly decently, and yeah, we had a lot of dramas out there, a lot of dramas. Just a couple of DNFs, were they crashes? Then we got somebody down here who was still running, I think, but he had dramas. So who didn't... Oh, Ken Miles didn't make it. Oh my word. Yeah, Ken Miles, we know about... Oh, Scooter Patrick ran out of fuel. Oh no. Yeah, we got John Miles. Don't know if there's any relation between the two. Sterling Moss retired with no brakes. Patty Hopkirk out too. Just didn't finish. Yeah, Joe Sifford retired with no brakes as well. Peter Sutcliffe, yeah, just a DNF. So we bet some. Yeah, who else is up further up out here? Who won? Ken Miles. Okay, so Ken Miles drove 2 cars. That seems entirely. That's actually true. That did happen. What was he in down here? He was in the Terlingua. Yeah, so he would have been double shifting that car, working 2 cars. And John Whitmore, Ronnie Buckham, Graham Hill, Paul Hawkins, Peter Sutcliffe, also running in 2 cars, Jochen Nierspasch, Gene Cormany, Dick Goldstrand, Joe Bezzetta, Skip Scott, we saw him, Joe Bezzetta again, Roger Penske, William Tracy, us, down here 2 laps off. Yeah, that was pretty poor. So it was, look at that, the Fords were nowhere in qualifying in this, and yet they've jumped to the top in the race. So where were we in class? So you know what? We finished 2nd in class. We started 2nd in class. So in that respect, we've done pretty much all we needed to do, and I believe that was even the guy that qualified ahead of us. Because yeah, that is the Group 3 plus 2 litre, and we're down there. And then he... Oh, that was somebody in our class too who conked out. Oh, my word. So that was actually full position there. We can actually go in here. So we were definitely in the class with the most entrants, I believe. Yeah, 24 entrants. And yeah, it's a Group 3. They had 7. They had 43. So yeah, we were definitely in the class with the most entrants. And yet, they've all fallen by the wayside, it appears. Look at that. Yeah, like... So there's 24, and 11 actually made it. No, not even. Are they showing up as DNF for weird reasons? Because you can't be a DNF and be up there. Anyway, yeah, I'm tired now. I'm going to need a bit of a break. It's been a long old one. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.